Welcome to the following presentation of a UNCG Music Camp's concert performance on the West TV, Sports and Entertainment Network. On behalf of the West TV Sports and Entertainment Network, please enjoy the show.
For being here tonight. Again, my name is Aikey, and it's been such a pleasure to be back at middle school this week. I taught middle school orchestra outside Atlanta for a decade, so I love this group of students, and I love the music that comes along with it. These guys worked really hard, and it's so much fun. Our very first piece is one of our most exciting, and it's called 𝗘𝘃𝗃𝗁. a really fun one, I promise. The next one is one of my favorites, and it's called Cruisin by Matt Turner. And one of the coolest things about this next piece is it has very much a rock and roll groove, and it has an improvisation section in the middle. So we have 4 students from the orchestra who have actually come up with their own solos. Some of them are literally going to be improvising them on the fly. Some of them wrote out their own solo, and they're going to be featured and play that during part of the performance. So we hope you enjoy Cruisin. This next piece, I thought I actually was going to remove from the program because I originally brought 8 pieces of music and had to eliminate it down a little bit. And I thought, oh, I'll cut this one. And they actually almost had to mute me, said, no, we want it back, which is very kind of them. It's a piece that I composed called Echoes of Hope. And it is a lyrical tune kind of inspired by a fiddle tune I was just playing one day. And I'm going to try not to get emotional because they are doing such a beautiful job playing this piece, and I could not be more proud to have them play it as the first school group to ever play this piece. So here's Echoes of Hope. first, I would like to thank the UNCG Summer Music Camp leadership for having me back again for a second year. This has been such a pleasure and such an honor. I've loved to get to do this. I've been looking forward to it all summer. It has just been such a joy. So thank you all for having me. I would love to thank, I had 5 amazing counselors this week who worked with your children all week long, running sectionals and doing all the things with all the crazy rain that we had, keeping kids safe. They just did an outstanding job, and they are a fine group of educators, and I'm so very, very, very glad to call them colleagues in this field. So I would like to thank Abby Hughes, Molly McKellar, Alan Sanderson, Allison Rhodes, and Sebastian Almeida. Let's give them a round of applause. For the evening, Mr. Kyle Wilson. Thank you so much. And of course, thank you all to your families for your support. You have no idea how much things like this can lead to so many opportunities in life for them. If it weren't for summer music camps and music in the public schools, I would not be here today. So this is such a wonderful thing to have your children be a part of. And thank you for supporting them in that. And to all the students, you've been awesome this week. Let's give them another round of applause. And for our final piece, we're performing Fantasia on a theme from Thailand by Richard Meyer. It's definitely the longest on the program. And there's a couple of times where it fakes you out on the ending, but you'll definitely know when it's the end because their bows will be off the string. So please enjoy Fantasia on a theme from Thailand. Thank you.
So we'll make a quick transition to the senior orchestra, and then we'll be back.